Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hope College inside Van Andel Soccer Stadium. You are here tonight for the matchup between the Hope College Flying Dutch and the Olivet College Comets. The Dutch come in at 10-1 overall, and Olivet comes in at 4-6-1 overall. And in conference, the Dutch are 1-1 with their loss against Calvin, and in conference for the Comets, they're 0-2. I'm Carly Van Swal alongside Claire DeSilva. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me, Carly.
One of those funky fall summer-like days as the sun sets on the stadium. Temperatures cooled down a little bit from the 80 degrees that it was earlier today, so definitely better temperature to play at.
Definitely.
So both teams will make their way to the center of the field, and just some previous game action for you before we get started here. The Dutch played on Saturday against the Hornets and failed Kalamazoo clearing attempt late in the game. About 2 or 3 minutes left in the second half. The Hornets scored on themselves, which led to a Dutch victory, 2-1 victory. And then the goal that the Dutch actually scored was by junior Isaac Brock. That was his third goal of the season. And then for the Comets on Saturday, lost to Adrian 5-1. The Comets got on the scoreboard in the 77th minute when Burton headed the ball into the net on a pass from Law. And then Lavin played the first half in the goal and had 3 saves. And then Im was the keeper, the freshman keeper for the second half, and collected 1 save. And he'll be their starter for tonight as we get things going here at Van Andel Soccer Stadium. So right away, the Dutch take control as we see Hagman up the sideline. Raymond will pass it back to Butler, who finds Brusso. Brusso looks back up to find Raymond.
Early on, we can see the Dutchmen spreading the field as much as possible and trying to create as much space in the ground and in the air.
Spell up in the air, back and forth. This ball is going to end up to Dalt.
And right now, the Dutchmen have been having a little bit of a difficulty in finding their offensive character, coming off of a really difficult loss against Calvin and coming back with the win this past weekend, but still not being able to put together as many opportunities as maybe they would like to.
So then, Claire, today, what is that one key that we need to work on for the offensive set to try to get back into that groove?
I think what has worked best for the Dutchmen is interchange play between their offensive midfielders and their forwards, as well as getting their outside backs forward. They just haven't done that so much, and I think it's something that could really add to their strength, especially because they do have quite a bit of speed on the outside, but they're not really utilizing it as much as possible. But in those moments when they're able to get their outside backs forward or even just get more crosses from them, they're very dangerous.
So this ball on the throw-in ends up on the opposite side after a couple passes, and Brusso will have it. He finds Hagman in the middle. Albritton will take it all the way to the back. He's got plenty of space to move, not a lot of pressure. Finds Butler, kind of looks for a crossing pass. Bilesma was there, but intercepted by the Comets. Brock recovers. Misplayed ball by Raymond, and we'll get a throw-in from the Comets. And looks like Bonkowski will take it. He fakes and ends up choosing to go to Pena. The Dutch recover. Bilesma sends it out to Raymond, who keeps it in bounds. Finds Brock. Brock out to Dalt.
And right now we can see the Olivet Comets doing a great job of not letting the Dutchmen get in behind. We haven't seen any passes into the gaps or the spaces, so you can see a very organized defensive structure early on.
Woodside to the middle to Brock. He's at the side of the goal box. Deflected off the Comets. Dalt takes it. Adams with a lot of defensive pressure. Dalt maintains control.
And that's great strength on the ball from Dalt just to try and keep that ball in the mix.
This ball's recovered by the Comets. They try to push middle. Hagman's there off the head of Bilesma. Pena clears it. Rosendale's there.
And that's a great trap from Devin Butler just to get that ball in a good spot for his team and keep possession for the Dutchmen.
Raymond decides to go back to Brusso. Dalton finds Woodside. Woodside goes back to Albritton. Brock will take it.
And one thing the Dutchmen are doing a lot better than we've seen in past games is switching the ball quickly and effectively, just being able to get it back and forth. And their side-to-side play is good. Now we want to see if they can get a little bit more depth within their play.
Out of bounce off the Comets. Mix-up pass from the Dutch. Excuse me. Law will lose it, though, and the Dutch take it. Woodside up the opposite sideline. He looks for Dalt. Dalt charges. He takes a shot at things and a little wide left.
But already we see them taking shots and taking more opportunities, and that's great to see early on just in the first 5 minutes of this game. And again, we saw Woodside coming up on the right side a lot further than we've seen in past weeks. So that interchange play and getting those outside backs up as an extra piece of attack is already proving very detrimental.
I will take the goal kick.
And right now it's hard to see what the Comets' plan offensively is. It just seems like they're not able to string their passes together, and maybe it's just that they're settling into this game, but also could just be that they don't have the right passing skills to be able to maintain that pressure. So if not passing, then it'll be interesting to see what way they choose to attack.
So the Comets will take this free kick. Dean Failure will take it. This ball goes up to the opposite side. Off the head of Adam. Brought down by Brusso.
We've seen a lot of center backs getting up in the offense and switching and interchanging into the attack. And this is a great ball, great positioning by Butler to get up the field in a good position with tons of space on the left side.
Comets crash on the defensive end, and Payne will send it out of bounds. Brock takes the quick throw, and they send it right back to him. He looks to break the defense. Dalton's there. He goes out to Raymond. He passes middle. Intercepted by Ime. Way to keep control. Kind of gets away from him, but he'll scoop it right back up.
And that's great strategy by Imes to come off the line in that situation, just because it's a very dangerous play, and that ball was pulled back into a great spot. So to be able to read that effectively, great job by the goalkeeper.
That off the head of Woodside. Bonkowski settles it. Payne to Graham. Graham with a lot of pressure from Dalton.
And we can even see the great defensive pressure from the midfielders being able to come back. Just seeing how Dalton's able to push him towards that line. That's one thing you always want to be able to do, is make sure that as a defender, you're pushing your offensive player outside rather than inside towards the goal danger areas.
Just like that, the Dutch give it back as Alberton sends it out of bounds. A pass intended to Raymond. Bonkowski takes the throw in. Brock looks up, finds Bilesma. Bilesma looks to push. Gets pushed off the ball, and that'll be a foul on the Comets.
And it's great to see Brock getting involved in play. Again, we've seen him on the ball constantly during this game, and that's something that I feel has been lost in the Dutchmen's last couple of games, just being able to find him in the open positions. And maybe with a stronger team, it's a little bit more difficult to do so, but just being able to see how he moves on and off the ball has been great in this game.
Gallen will send that one up to Payne. Payne looks for Rosendahl. That's going to go off him. Can't get there in time. Butler takes the throw in to Dalton, who sends it right back. Pass intended to Brock, intercepted from Graham. Dutch take it right back. Brock looks to push up to Dalt.
And the power of the spin ball can be seen on that play, just because it's so much nicer when you have a little bit of spin just to take a little off the ball, especially on the turf, which is so speedy. Any flat balls are just going to go sail right out of bounds or out of reach of your player. So great technique by Brock in that situation, even though the ball was lost.
We'll get a free kick from the Comets. This ball goes up. Comets crashing on a breakaway. Intercepted from Hagman. Rosendahl had some good speed on that play.
And I love the commitment of Hagman, who's in this defensive holding mid position. He does such a great job of being able to be a strong defensive presence and coming back into the box and constantly defending for his team rather than relying on the back four to be making adjustments constantly in the game.
Another comet throw-in, combining my words here, as Adam will take this one. This will ball out to Raymond.
And he's got a lot of time on the ball, being able to stand right over it. Still looking.
Yeah, pain there, but no pressure whatsoever as Brock takes it up the middle. He finds Bilesma. Bilesma with a little bit of space, a little bit of speed, looks for Raymond.
And that's great interchange. I don't know how Raymond found himself all the way up in the middle of the park at the top, but that was great insight and great movement by him to continue moving off of that ball and stay with the speed of the play.
Throw in from Woodside. He surveys his options. Brock will take it. Goes right back to Woodside, who finds Albritton, spreads things out. Albritton finds Raymond, goes for the quick pass to Butler. Butler kind of in a different wavelength, but he'll pick it up. Albritton sends it forward.
That's
Brock
a great
is
ball
there.
behind.
Brock's got space. He keeps control, finds Bilesma, and Bilesma will finish it right in the middle. Perfect placement. Good eyes by Brock.
And what was so beautiful about that play was the insight from Albritton to look a little bit longer into that space. And one thing that's very important in terms of that play is field of view and line of sight. Not only was Brock in the line of sight, but he was just in the field of view and in the space and behind in that gap. But he didn't know that he was going to cover that space until he ran into it. So being able to have that insight and that communication, again, going back to what we said about interchange play between the forwards and the midfielders, a beautiful display of that and great insight and communication, nonverbal communication, to be able to make that play happen.
While putting a little bit of pressure on the Dutch defense. The ball's going to get sent out of bounds. Pressure from the Dutch. Payne had it, but couldn't keep control. So McCormick will take a goal kick.
And he loves to look a little bit shorter in terms of building up the play. That's a strategy that I've seen with different teams of being able to build their play up from the back line to the offensive line. That's a good strong tackle by the Comet. I'm not sure which number that was. I believe it was Lutz.
Good pass up. Adams is going to recover that. He'll send it out. Bilesma's there at the top of the box.
And that's great defense from Mubarak Adams just to keep that ball out of harm's way, specifically when he was going up against Dalt, just putting his body in the right space at the right time very legally just to keep that ball from, or keep Dalt from having a clear shot on the play.
Yeah, Adams bringing a strong and tall presence for the Comets in the backfield, which has really helped us. We've seen some throw-ins. He's really kind of taking control of them, just having a lot more height on both Dalton and Dalt over there on the right side.
And he's also limited Dalt's effectiveness of being able to go forward. As you can see, the Dutchmen are really attacking primarily from the left side in this game so far.
Bonkowski slips but recovers. The ball's at the top with Dalton. And Butler kind of trips up. There's that third defender Claire and I always talk about, the turf.
Right.
Slippery. Bilesma's there. Oh! Would have gone 2 for 2.
And he'll sail that one over, looking for the trees instead of the goal. But that was a great opportunity to get a second ball in. And that's a perfect spot for Bilesma, just being able to run onto that ball as opposed to waiting for it. And that's beautiful insight, just to try and slot that ball in for a quick number 2 for the Dutchman. Good opportunity, just unfortunately not the right technique on that play.
It's a $100 move, but a 10-cent finish. Dutch so far got a couple shots on goal, but it's encouraging for their offense. I see those pockets of space that they can cut into and open up. We'll see how the Comets recover after almost 2 back-to-back goals there. That ball is almost cleared and up in the air. Ime will punch it away. Still in the box. Finally, the Comets get it out of there.
And Iman's finding himself very busy in this game, just doing the best he can to keep this ball out of the goal and doing a great job under pressure with very little support from his defense.
Yeah, doing a great job. There's a lot of congestion in the box. We just saw in the last couple plays where
Right.
there's not a whole lot of space for him to go, but doing a great job of punching it out anyway, anyhow. So that's going to be a foul on Adam. We'll see Woodside and Raymond out by the ball for the kick. Raymond's going to take him. We know that he's capable of making it from that far. It's going to be punched out. McGallen will clear it.
And that was a tricky move by Bruce. I was glad that he got that one right. Otherwise, it was speeding, or it was McAdams. Sorry, I can't talk. It was McAdams going straight to goal on that play.
So Hagman has it. He'll look back to Brusso. Brusso sends it up to Butler.
And that's a decent ball, just not the right technique, but the Dutchmen still are able to maintain possession.
Raymond has it in the corner. Goes back to Butler. Butler sends it middle. Dalt's there, so is Adam. Great defense. Ball's in the box, going to be cleared away from Graham. We're going to get a quick throw in right away from Raymond to Dalton.
We can already hear Coach Brandt screaming just to make sure Dalt specifically is getting in that box and getting in on those plays in the back door, just being able to clean up any messes.
Good send. Isaac Brock gets a head on it, but angle's not right for him. So we'll get a goal kick from him. With 30 minutes left to go. He sends it about the halfway.
And right now, it just seems like the Comets are not invested in this game as much as they should be, or as engaged. Just not being able to keep the ball for a long enough time to develop any plays.
Payne settles it.
We're going to get a call, maybe a handball. Unsure what the call was for, but it seems like it may have been a handball. That's all I could think of. We're going to see Albritton sending over this ball.
Rosendahl there. He's going to go for the quite easy pass to Brock.
Right, and again, just catching the Comets asleep at the wheel. They're just not doing too much in terms of closing down on pressure and getting tight to their men.
Yeah, like you said, there's not a lot of whole pressure defense going on. It's more of a kind of let them weave through them, and then at the last minutes it's the scramble defense to try to get out of the goal box, which, I mean, with only one goal scored, that's decent, but that's not going to work every time.
Right. And especially if you're playing with a team that's a little bit faster than you and it's getting the ball in behind, there are a couple options that you could do. You could either set your line a little bit higher and trying to get them off sides, but when you see a lot of interchange play, you can also set your line a little bit deeper and keep that play in front of you so that you're never running behind your heels. But there's been very little adjustment from the Comets in terms of how they want to defend and how they want to attack, really.
This ball deflected off of Hagman.
And that one's going to go over the fence.
We're going to get a throw in here from the Comets. Deep throw in.
That's a beautiful throw.
Off the head of, I want to say McGallen, but cannot see the number from here, but Albritton will send it out.
Looks like that throw came from Rosendale. That could be a big weapon for the Comets going forward in terms of getting that ball in the box and just making something happen.
Law sends that in, and McCormick will easily scoop it up. He waits for his team to spread out, and he's just going to go for the easy roll pass to Albritton. Albritton looks middle to Brock.
And what a great first touch just to create some space for himself by Brock.
Brock still has it. He goes up this time to Dalt.
And that's a beautiful ball in behind. Again, just the power of that spin ball and being able to place the ball where you want it and making sure that it doesn't go out of bounds.
A lot of pressure from Adam, who wins. And then looks like we're going to get a foul on Dalt.
It looks like we're going to have a battle between the two of these guys all night.
Yeah.
Dalt used to getting his way back on the outside with speed and aggression, but going up against a very strong Adam in the defense, and he's doing a great job of handling that pressure and being able to fairly knock Dalt off of the ball.
Yeah, Adam really giving Dalt a run for his money and honestly winning most of the jousts that have happened over on that opposite side.
Right.
Things getting a little bit more chippy. As that ball is finally settled. We're going to get a foul on the Dutch. The Comets will take the free kick around the halfway mark. Failer will take it.
And it even seems like the Comets aren't getting too many men forward. They have all their midfielders and forwards up high, but not really any outside backs or defenders coming forward. And that could be because of tired legs, but also they're not taking as many opportunities as they could to see what they're capable of in that offensive third.
Brusso takes it usually up the middle. He finds Dalton on the side, who looks for Bilesma. Bilesma getting a lot of pressure from Failer, as well as a little bit from Adam. Brock has it up top.
And again, the way he's ripping through that defense, he just shouldn't have that much time on the ball and space and time to be able to be dribbling through the defense the way he is.
Yeah, and the only times the Dutch have really had trouble getting through is when they go to that right side and try to get through Adam, when Adam will crash in to kind of help defense. Is kind of only times that the Dutch really have a hard time trying to get into the box.
Right.
Payne takes it, looks up, intercepted from the Dutch. Pena will slide tackle it, but looks like Brusso will take control.
And unfortunately, that ball's going to sail a little bit further, but just due to the lack of speed, probably more so than a bad ball. Just knowing your players, just knowing that Raymond is not a player that's going to be going in behind with that pace, and just being able to read that and give the best ball to your players based off of their strengths.
Bilesma has it. He finds Woodside crashing up the right side. He's pressured by Law.
He does a great job to hold on to that
He
ball.
goes past Adam in the middle. Brock kind of misplays it. He still has control. They find Raymond. Raymond looks to get it. And he kind of snuck that in.
And that play really began with Woodside tearing through that defense. He lost Adam so smoothly and just being able to deliver a perfect ball, pulling it right back to the PK spot, and a classic left-footed in-swinger finish from James Raymond that was placed perfectly with just the right amount of spin to curl just around that right post and into the back of the net.
Yeah, and I don't really think anyone on the field really expected that to go in.
Right.
Everyone just kind of stood and kind of was expecting to watch it head out of bounds, but he snuck it in, and I'm noticeably unhappy with this defense, but great shot and move by Raymond.
And you know you've had the perfect shot when the goalkeeper can only stand and they can't make a play on the ball.
So the Dutch quickly maintain control once again. Dalton looks to pass it up, but no one's there. Im scoops it up.
And we're going to see another mishit. And this defense, it must be a lot of pressure on them, just having to do all of the sprinting, doing a great job to try and come back, but that's taking a toll on their legs clearly. And we're going to get a third goal by Bilesma, just catching Comets unaware in the middle of the park and being able to penetrate that defense by getting in behind, taking them with speed on somewhat of a counter and bad defensive organization. And Bilesma will finish that like a classic number 9.
A great job from Dalt, who came up charging the side, went past Adam. Adam tried to recover a little bit, couldn't get there in time. Bilesma just sending it home. So with about 23 minutes left to go, the Dutch are up 3-0 in the first half.
And what a way to build morale with this team, especially because Saturday they won their game, but it was very much in the final minutes that they got that final goal just to take it home. And being able to come back so strong with a 3-0 lead early in the first half, it's instrumental to the team morale and making sure that they're still on the same page with how they want this team to work and how they want the rest of the season to go.
Yeah, because as you know in soccer, and it showed on Saturday night when you were calling against the Hornets, one shot, one deflection can really change the whole kind of makeup of the game. And
right.
Calvin, yes, in the lead right now as far as conference stuff goes, but you never know what happens. You
right.
don't know what flukes could come up or what mishaps could happen that could really turn that table. So every game still counts at this point in the season. This ball goes up, sent out of bounds from McGowan.
That was great strength by McGowan to try and hold on to that ball. Unfortunately, not the right technique on top to put a decent ball in the box for his teammates.
So McCormick will take the goal kick. He finds Albritton, who sends it back because he's got some pressure from Rosendahl.
Nearly slips, but is able to recover from that very smoothly.
Brock comes charging in as he usually does and uses his speed to get around about 3 of the Comets. He looks to push past Adam. Ball's going to be cleared from Lutz. And we're going to have Payne on the sideline. Sends it out of bounds. So we'll get a throw in from Bonkowski.
We can see some communication between Raymond and Butler, just trying to figure out who's pressing at one time. And that's so important with team defense being on the same page, because if not, it completely tears up your defensive structure.
Gallen takes it against Brock. Got a lot of speed, can't keep it in bounds.
And that's one great way to run your legs tired, is by spending energy on plays that don't necessarily have any future development.
We're going to get 3 subs for the Dutch. We're going to see Dominic Byrne, Ryan Flynn, number 7, and number 17, Jack Elwell, will come into the game. And I was just about to say, Claire, usually at this point in the game we see 4 or 5 subs from the Dutch. So,
right.
But maybe Coach Brandt excited about the way his offense is working, giving them a little bit more time to connect. And we already have 2 more subs waiting on the sideline. So Butler takes it up, finds Elwell. Elwell with a little blooper pass intercepted by Graham.
I love that phrase, a blooper pass.
Adam sends it up. Elwell takes it, has Bilesma up in the top. He's double teamed. Elwell finds it again. Goes out to Raymond. Raymond with a lot of space. Pressure from Bonkowski. A little wide. Dalt keeps it in. Elwell's there. Off the crossbar. Bilesma almost
nearly gets a hat trick
on
that one. And that was a beautiful play. Just a beautiful cross to the other side by Raymond to Dalt, who's ready to get that ball back in the box in a dangerous position. And just Bilesma in the right place at the right time constantly.
And we're going to get 2 more subs. As I said a little bit earlier, we're going to see number 21, Jack Feld, and number 23, Michael Francisco, will come into the game. Goal kick from Eim.
That's a good tackle by Dalton. He'll carry straight into the middle. And a beautiful distribution wide to Bilesma, who's going to get his hat trick, one that he's been looking for this entire game. And that was beautiful interchange play between 2 forwards, one on the inside, one on the outside. So seeing Dalt being able to intercept that ball so quickly, cut in, and see that just knowledge and wisdom of Bilesma to be able to come wide and pull wide and wait for that ball in behind. Beautiful play and a beautiful finish.
So Christian Dalt will take the assist on that one, and Bilesma will get just another one in the stat sheet. Great job by him. And we're going to see a substitution from number 4, Brett Dyer, and number 3, Griffin Brusso, and then number 22, Jordan Hooker, will come into the game. That's 8 subs in the last 2 minutes for the Dutch, which is not uncharacteristic for this team. Coach Brandt really likes to get everyone involved. Has a deep team and likes to use all the talent. And why not when you got the bodies and the talent and you got the legs?
Right.
Can really wear out a bunch of teams. being able to go 22 guys deep. Bonkowski sends it up. Albritton is there. He'll let it go back to McCormick.
And these center backs on the Dutchman have not been tested a ton, so being able to keep composure and be in the right spaces at the right time, it just shows their engagement and commitment to this game offensively and defensively, which is their primary role.
Byrne looks for Hooker. Hooker against Adam, a little bit more of an interesting matchup. Both match in height. This ball is going to be sent middle. Flynn is there. Flynn sends it out to Dyer. Dyer looks back to Francisco. He spreads it out. Looks for the side pass to Byrne. Byrne with some pressure from Pena. And then Francisco with a lot of pressure from Burton. Reese Burton came into the game for the Comets. This ball's cleared by Thaler. This ball up the side. Brusso will take it.
And Brusso not looking up as much, but he can look a little bit longer across the field, all the way over to the left. You can see Dyer itching to get that ball in behind, just not being able to receive it in the right space at the right time.
Off Burton fighting for the ball against Byrne.
And we can hear Coach Brandt just challenging his team to do better with possession, even though they're doing very well, obviously, with a 4-0 lead, just what they can do to maintain composure and maintain strength in many different ways.
We're going to get two more substitutions from the Dutch. Number 12, Steve Binning, and number 15, Nolan Vandegrift will come into the game.
Also number 15, Nolan Vandegrift.
So that will be a full line change for the Dutch, except for McCormick stays in goal. Burns sends it up to Hooker. Hooker looks back. Vandegrift sends it up. They look for Veld on the sideline. Veld looks to push. Intended for Brusso, Brusso.
And a little long, but a good idea nonetheless. Sometimes with those balls, when you're sending them straight down the line as opposed to across the field, it makes it a little bit harder to put the right timing and get the right spacing on the ball. But when you're able to look across the goal, if the option is on, it creates another depth and another opportunity to find your players.
We'll get an offsides call there. We're winding down to the 16-minute mark, 4-0 in the first half. The Dutch still in control. Thaler will take the free kick. He goes long ball. Rosendahl was there, but Veld will send it out of bounds. We're going to get two subs for the Comets, number 10, Charles Holt, and number 20, Dominic Burmeister.
Number 10, Charles Holt.
Come in for Adams and Pena, both well-deserved breaks.
Right, and there's just so much energy being spent trying to keep the ball out of the defensive third for the Comets that it makes it hard to then turn around and attack when they haven't really had any strings of possession.
Hooker takes it. Long ball intended for Dyer. Dyer can't do anything with it, so Bonkowski will take the throw-in. He goes back for Lutz. Lutz sends it forward. Binning will send it down. Kicked into the middle. Law's there. Vandegrift will take it. Quick pass. They find Flynn, who charges up the sideline. Big pass to Dyer. Dyer against Bonkowski. Dyer slipped up in the turf.
And that was a great ball in behind, just not timed as well as Dyer wanted it to be, but a great idea to get forward and moving very quickly and keeping that line moving up as the play developed. Comets were a little bit fortunate on that one, but a great job on their part to be consistent with their line and holding it. And that's one of the hardest things, is being able to say, this is where our line is set, and not being the defender that makes it so that another player's on side.
Flynn's there in the middle, goes out to Elwell. Elwell with a lot of pressure from McGallen. Francisco helped out Byrne, who looks middle for a quick pass. Flynn takes it back to Francisco. Blooper up for Dyer. Bonkowski takes it. He goes for the box out, so that ball can be cleared over the head of Rosendahl. Vandegrift to Byrne. Byrne back to Binning. Binning to Flynn. A lot more pressure from the Comets' defense.
The midfielders and the Dutchman midfielders are doing a great job of fielding that pressure and being able to keep that ball and maybe not turn, but finding the next best option to create some space for themselves and their players.
Send forward to Rosendahl. Binnig's there with the pressure. Law and Elwell go at it. Law wins. Goes out to Burton. Binning will clear it out. They look for Brusso. Intercepted from Burmeister. A lot of back and forth action in the middle half.
Right.
Feld looks to do something with it. He sends it forward.
And again, that straight across ball, not as effective, not nearly as effective as when you're communicating with the opposite side of the field and looking for those plays in behind. And those types of plays, they kind of have to be nonchalant. They can't be plays that you're just looking to someone and making sure you have their eye contact. It kind of has to be a natural play of just saying, this is the space that needs to be filled, and this is how I'm going to fill it. And then both players taking it upon themselves to make that play happen.
Hooker keeps it alive.
And fortunate with his long legs to be able to get a foot in there to keep that play alive, like you said.
Good defense from Lutz, to get it out. We go all the way back to Bonkowski, who swerves past Dyer.
And that's great positioning by Vandegrift to be in the right space at the right time. Potentially dangerous play from Bonkowski.
Vandegrift had plenty of time. He chooses to go to Byrne, intercepted.
And that's good defensive coverage from Francisco to make sure he was in the right spot in that space.
Flynn finds Elwell. Elwell looks out to Veld, who's got plenty of space. Some charging defense from Holt, but the Dutch keep it alive. Hooker has it. There's that turf that kind of broke up Bonkowski. Flynn takes it.
He does well to work hard and keep that ball.
Byrne spaces it out to Veld. Veld with a beautiful ball forward, but Imes there for the easy pop fly catch. 10 minutes left to go in this first half, 4-0.
You can see the Comets getting ready to make another substitution. It's so interesting to see the difference between other teams and the Dutchmen, just because they like to get so many players in at one time, whereas other teams are just looking for the one or two substitutions just to make little differences and little changes here and there. That's a decent shot by Flynn, and he's a player who is never afraid to take a shot from however far out, and that's how most of his goals have occurred, by being aggressive and being proactive and being able to take shots from anywhere on the field.
And when you're up 4-0, I mean, there's no better time to practice that and try those out than now.
Right. And one thing we haven't really seen from a lot of teams is the ability to switch their formations and really try something new and a little bit more creative, especially when they're up very high. but the Dutchmen have plenty of room to play with, and they have a lot of things that they can grow in and different ways of changing their attack and changing their defensive structure that we have yet to see.
Foul there from Byrne on McGowan. Lutz will take it. He takes his time.
And again, we can see all 4 defenders back for the Comets, but it may be worth it just to get a couple more people in. There's nothing to lose in this situation.
McCormick comes charging out of the goal and punches it.
And that's good work by Veld, just keeping his balance and maintaining composure, and what almost looks like a handball, but obviously it wasn't.
Bonkowski a couple times gotten tripped up from that turf. Talk about it's slippery, and both teams are victims of that.
Right. And imagine what it would be like if it was actually a slick surface from
Exactly.
the rain, you know?
Wells here finds Flynn.
And not being able to look up and see the left side of the field. Francisco with tons of space on that left, looking for that ball, and unfortunately unable to make that connection with him.
Binning in a foot race.
And we'll see number 11, Rosendale, working hard to get that ball. Really selling that fall, but we can definitely see a push from Binning. But good insight from him, knowing he was the last defender and being able to stop that play.
So as both teams set up for this play, I think it's a proper time to shout out our favorite family back in Pittsburgh.
We do love the Binnings. Being able to report on these games and get their support, we appreciate it. It's awesome.
And it's always fun to know that we have listeners all across the country.
Right,
and
right.
hard for them not to be there to watch Steve, their son, but in his senior year, but also exciting that we have this amazing broadcast put on by Hope and our wonderful sponsors, Lawrence and Vanderswerp, to be able to, do this for them.
Right.
So we have McGowan and I want to say Rosendahl back by the ball. I can't see the number exactly.
Right, that's one of the hardest things about this game is reading the numbers of all these players.
So McGowan will take it. He almost sneaks.
He'll sneak that ball in. And that's a beautiful shot. And he was maybe not banking off of the deflections, but that was incredible how all of those deflections took a turn. McCormick doing the best he can to get a hand on that ball, and he was fortunate to even get a hand. But unfortunately, that ball's going to go in the back of the net, and that's going to be one for the Olivet Comets.
Number 9, David Magdalene.
And just as they score to bring the score to 4-1, they'll send in 2 substitutions. Number 5, Carter Thomas, and number 23, Griffin Hammond will come into the game. Francisco takes the quick throw in to Byrne. He gets pressured by Holt, goes back to Binning. Charging through is Lutz to send it back to the Dutch defense.
And that was great defensive pressure. I love a good 50-50 ball when defenders aren't necessarily staying behind their man, but are challenging them and putting pressure on them and causing them to be more proactive and more engaged.
Rosendahl has it. He charges forward off the foot of Veld. He takes it. McCormick will scoop it right up.
And Rosendale has really made a difference in terms of being able to get in behind. He's the main point offensive player that we can see, really looking for different spaces to attack and different gaps to exploit.
Vandegrift has this ball. Not really pressured. He sends it forward. Easy ball for Eim to scoop up.
And we can see a lull in the play of the Dutchmen, just being able to bank on the fact that they're up 4-1. But one thing that's important to see is not necessarily them relaxing into the game, but finding more creative ways, especially with their bench, to be able to get attack going forward.
And it's played off Hammond. Francisco sends it up to Flynn. A lot of pressure from Lutz. That'll go out of bounds. We're going to get 2 more subs for the Dutch.
Substitutions.
Number 20,
Entering the lineup
Petrus
for the
Martins,
Dutchman.
as well as
Number
26,
Martin.
Caleb Schoon will come into the
Also
game.
26.
And Lutz has been doing a great job, especially as of late in this half on the Comets, of being able to be aggressive to these plays and just giving life to his defense.
Elwell tries to keep it alive in the box for the Dutch.
McGowan does really well to keep that ball in spin and keep attacking and advancing forward.
Holt slows it up, but coming charging is Rosendale.
And again, we can see the speed of Rosendale just being able to slip into those spaces and behind. And great coverage from Steve Binnig just to read that play and see that Vandergrift needed help on that play.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot more speed from Rosendale and McGowan and some of the other offensive players for this Comets team, which we didn't see in the first half of this first half, which is kind of surprising now that we're winding down with about 5 minutes left to go.
And what a difference it would have made.
Right.
Yeah.
So Martins has it against Bonkowski. He sends it middle.
He does really well to get around Bonkowski in that situation. Unfortunately, no one able to capitalize on that cross.
Francisco intended for Flynn. A little bit of a miscommunication. So we'll get a goal kick.
And as we enter into these last 5 minutes and going into halftime, one thing that will be important for the Olivet Comets is being able to say, look, we have some speed up top, probably a little bit more speed than these center backs, so how can we exploit that space and behind and find these gaps and create some interchange? Maybe it's dropping your top point person, Rosendale, into an attacking midfield position where he can run onto that ball into the space and in behind. Or maybe it's keeping him high but adding a couple more numbers and a little bit more strength and presence with maybe one of your outside backs just to get them going forward a little bit more.
Binning sends it up to Schoon. Schoon's there with Eim. He has kind of an open goal. He's just gonna
finish that
solo shot. He kept it alive against Eim, who couldn't get his hands on it.
And that's incredible aggression. Just a single man play, just a one-man show, and just being able to be very stubborn in that play and just say, we're going to put this ball away. I'm going to get my team a goal right here, right now. Incredible from the freshman out of Ludington, Michigan. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Ludington, Michigan.
Thank
Claire's
you.
from California, so you do have to cut her some slack.
Cut me just a little bit of slack.
And we're going to get a substitution for the Comets. Brock Beeman will come into the game, number 14. 4 minutes left to go. Thomas has it, looks out to Burmeister. Burmeister tried to pass it up, couldn't keep it in bounce, but that'll go off the Dutch, so we'll get a Burmeister throw-in. Burmeister with a deep throw-in. In the box. Flynn gets it out of there.
And he does well not just to get it out of there, but keep the ball in possession as well. And we can see this field opening up almost immediately. It's like parting like the Red Sea.
Byrne wanted to go up to Martins. Bronkowski there. Martin's not giving up, though.
And we can see his effort by the way the wind whips his hair.
McGowan there in the middle against Byrne. Sent forward. McCormick will scoop it up easily. Looks like he kind of slipped a little bit. He finds Vandegrift. Oh, well, out to Schoon. That's going to go out of bounds. And Burton will take the throw-in.
And it looks like the Dutchmen are gearing up to make another substitution going into these last 2.5 minutes of the game. Not quite ready to send a player in, but we can see someone on the line.
Bell takes in the backfield, looks further back to Binnig. He's got a lot of space, a lot of yardage. Finds Francisco. Tried to go middle to Elwell. Broken up by Thomas, and McGowan will send it out of bounds. We're going to see the senior, number 25, Sam Mason, come to the game. Mason from Wheaton, Illinois.
And sometimes it's just the simple passes that are the most difficult for the Dutchmen, specifically with sending their players wide, just being able to spread that space early and often. I feel like oftentimes they're looking middle and it's a little bit more crowded, whereas they could just look outside a little bit further up the field and create that simple pass and play for their defenders. See McGowan doing very well.
Keeps it alive. Good hustle. He gets it inside the box, sends it middle. Nice cross pass. Veld sends it out.
And Veld does a great job in terms of positioning, and that ball was particularly hard because he was clearing the ball out facing his own goal, and that can always get a little tricky.
Martin slows up to get the ball. Tried to go out to Griffin Brusso. Burmeister's there. Elwell has it in the middle. Goes to Byrne.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Hit the 1 minute mark in this first half. 5-1.
And as the Dutchmen go into the halftime, one thing that'll be interesting to see is how they choose with their bench specifically to attack, because we can see a lull in the attack. It's not bad, but it's just definitely not at the same pace as with their starting lineup. So being able to make those adjustments and say, we want to be more accountable and make sure that we are strong across the board. It would also be interesting to see with their starting lineup what would happen if they switched from a 4-back to a 3-back in terms of being able to defend in a different way and perhaps get more numbers forward and attack in a different sense. Not something they need to do, but something that would be interesting.
And at this point, not always a bad idea to try stuff out.
Right.
We're getting a throw in from McGowan. 10 seconds left to go.
10.
He sends it
9,
deep off the head
8,
of Binning.
7, 6.
Holt tries to keep it alive, and they're just going to let that go out of bounds.
That is going to take us into halftime.
So as we go into halftime, 5-1 in favor of the Dutch. We're going to take a quick 15-minute break, and then we'll be right back for your second half action.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to Hope College inside of Van Andel Soccer Stadium. Once again, you're here for the matchup between the Hope College Flying Dutch and the Olivet Comets. We're just waiting on the Comets to kind of set up here as they came in a little bit late, but getting set up right now. And just kind of a recap of the first half, 5-1. The Dutch really took control. We saw goals from Bilesma. The first goal was from Bilesma off a pass from Brock. Second goal was Raymond. Third goal, Bilesma. Fourth goal, Bilesma. So Bilesma getting his hat trick for the night. And then the fifth goal was a nice solo shot from Schoon, which I'm not exactly sure, but I think that would be his first goal of the season as we get the action started here. And then the one goal for the Comets was off a free kick from McGallen. Kind of snuck its way in, but beautiful shot and placement. So we'll see how the Comets kind of react to that first half coming out of halftime, because they've had some time to discuss. And Claire, if you are the Comets, what are you going to, try to pick up this second half?
Well, the Comets really have nothing to lose, just being down so much. And I think they have the opportunity to really test and see what their offense is capable of. We did see a lot of speed, specifically from number 11, Joshua Rosendale, later on in the first half, and that's speed that can be exploited and behind in those spaces and being more creative. We also saw a little bit of speed from some of the outside backs early on in the first half, and good strength. They're just not being able to exploit all of their players in the right spaces. So being able to make those tactical adjustments to say, this player is good at X, Y, and Z, and this is where they would be most useful because, again, they don't have a lot to lose. They have the ability to push a little bit more forward just to see what they're capable of offensively.
So Bonkowski sends it back to the Dutch defense. And then, Claire, if you're the Dutch, what are you thinking about doing? You're keeping the gas pedal down? You're trying to start trying some new things out, mix up the lineups? What are you looking from Coach Brandt?
I'm thinking keeping strong possession and being able to mix up a little bit of the lineup to see where some of his players can be more versatile and be called upon in different situations. I know Woodside specifically is switching from a typical midfield role. I believe he used to be either a holding or attacking midfielder for the Dutchmen and has switched into this outside back role, but being able to see him in that role again, especially as a starter, and especially if the Dutchmen need that in more difficult games, being able to see the depth of your players, not just of your bench, but of your first string men, just being able to see what they can do and how well they're able to do it, and what different combinations and what more creativity you can create offensively when you switch them in those positions. So it might be interesting to see that.
Woodside just mentioned he'll throw it in. And Burmeister, which I got to say, Burmeister might be my favorite last name that I've ever called in my 4 years of being here. And Brock will take that ball away and find Woodside, who charges in the middle. Miscommunication between him and Brock, and Woodside tips that out of bounds. Throw in from Burmeister. Off the head of Rosendale and sends it out of bounds himself.
He looked a little dazed and confused on that one.
Throw in from Woodside again. Box out from Dalt.
Dalt will take that with speed, getting a decent cross off. Im has been pretty solid in goal despite having 5 goals scored against him. Not a testament at all to his goalkeeping skills.
No.
He's been very smart and very vocal with his defense, just not being able to get the right sort of pressure on the ball to prevent him from having these reaction saves that are so difficult.
Brock shoots it, and Im goes off his hands, and he tries to keep it in bounce. So we're going to get a corner because he can't maintain that ball, and so Raymond will take it in the opposite corner.
And that has been the one slip-up that he's had this whole game. Decent shot from Brock, and we saw a good instep shot. And what a difference it makes when you're able to get the shoelaces on that ball as opposed to the side of the foot.
So off the head of Brock, that goes out of bounds. And Im will get a goal kick. He'll take his time. He'll set it down, and survey his options. He's going to go up the sideline. Burmeister.
Again, we see Burmeister trying to do a little flick on and not really working out for him too well. And I remember for me, flick-ons were always the hardest thing, just being able to redirect the ball in the right way. It was just very funny to watch and can be awkward for players.
So that ball finally brought down. A little help from Woodside and Dalton. Hagman sends it middle to Raymond, who finds Flynn. So a little bit of a different starting lineup for the Dutch.
Right, seeing Raymond in the middle a little bit more so than we have in the past. And he's a player that's been all over the place, starting out for the Dutchman as an outside back in his earlier years and shifting to an offensive role this year. And now seeing him in the middle, attacking as an offensive midfielder. That's very interesting to see.
And really just kind of blossomed in this new role, really kind of taken charge of it, and early on was kind of one of the main goal scorers for this team.
Right.
With that strong left boot. Dalt got a little bit of a push from Failer, and we're going to get a quick start. They find Brock in the middle. He's got space. Keeps it alive. Looks out to Dalt. He finds Raymond. Raymond with space.
And Raymond has been doing a great job of finding the open spaces. Maybe not connecting in the way that he wanted to, but just finding those open spaces to run into and keep the defense on their toes has been really great early on in the second half.
Another goal kick from Ime.
And it almost looks like the Dutchmen have switched to a 4-5-1 position. I can't confirm that, but it looks like they're doing a little bit more of a crowded midfield style and just having 1 point as opposed to having 3 offensive players. And that could prove useful for them in tougher games when they really need to get more numbers forward but need to be more strategic on how they do that. And by having more midfielders, it gives you a little bit more room and space to run.
So that ball sent in the middle off the head of Flynn. Had a little bit of a chance at a goal. Not the best. Kind of got a wrong flick off his head. And so we'll get a kick from the Comets. And Lutz will take that one. Off the head of Hagman. Brock takes control. Pressure from Law. Finds Hagman once again in the middle. He looks middle to Flynn. Gonna get a foul off of Hagman. The Comets this time choose to go for a quick start.
Right, trying to utilize that speed of Rosendale.
Ball's gonna get sent all the way back to Law. He goes to Burmeister, almost intercepted by Dalt. Good pressure on his part. McGallen goes back to Law. Dalton keeps it, steals it, and is going to go off of McGallen, so he wins the ball for that, for the Dutch.
And although the Comets were not able to keep possession in that situation, we can already see a greater sense of urgency and more commitment to trying to keep the ball as opposed to just going through the motions. You can see Butler sprinting up the field, not getting that ball, but still good urgency from him and good pace to get in the right position at the right time.
And him just charging up the sideline like that makes the defense have to pay attention to him. He is a threat out there.
And we'll see a quick shot from Dalt with the left foot, just being able, or keeping Ime on his toes, and that's going to go out for a corner kick.
So Brock will take this one. Dalt goes to the corner to help him out.
And that's something that Dalt is so special at, just being able to create those pockets of space at the top of the box or wherever on the or in the middle of the park, especially as we get closer to the end line, and just being able to make something happen for his team.
Dalt takes it. Burmeister sends it in the air. Dalton tries to steal it down. Dalt looks to push sideline against Burmeister.
And he does very well in that situation.
That's going to go off of Failer, I'm pretty sure. Yep, Failer. And then Raymond this time. He'll take the corner. He takes a breath, waits for his team to settle in.
And one strength that we can also see from Dalt is his ability to get his shoulder down very early on and really dig into plays so that you can't really knock him off the ball just because his shoulder's down so low around that corner, being able to have a lot more control in that situation and keep defenders from really knocking him off the ball.
So Raymond sent that ball a little far. Comets will take the kick. 35 minutes left to go in the second half. off the head of McGowan.
And off on the sideline, we don't even see Coach Brandt really in the mix on the line. Usually we see him off the line standing and really engaging. Oh, we see him peeling back off, but just
At a different section of the line.
right, just a less active role than we're used to seeing.
Brock finds Raymond. Dalton to Woodside. Woodside up the side.
And that's a beautiful ball.
Great pass to Brock. He looks inward towards Dalton. Deflected. And Failer will send it out of bounds. We're going to get a quick throw in. Flynn's there. He sends it up. No one's there to finish the play. Get another kick from the Comets.
And it's nice to see Brandt mixing up his starting lineup with maybe one or two bench players, like Flynn in the middle, just being able to get him more involved in the attack with the first string men, as opposed to the opposite way of just switching everyone in at once.
So miskicked ball, and
a great save by Eim. Unfortunately, no one to sweep it up, but the Dutchman really did take advantage of that missed goal kick.
good defense by Bonkowski as well to be there to kind of help out Eim if he needed it.
The men's lacrosse schedule is on the Hope Athletics website for your knowledge.
Brock goes out to Hagman. Hagman to Dalton Burso. Goes back to Auburn. Back and forth action between the Dutch players. Hagman chooses Woodside. Laws is only defender in the middle of the mix. Failer will send it out of bounds. Right into the hands of our ball keeper.
Picked up Wabash, though. That's pretty good.
Burso sends it forward.
He's been having a little bit of trouble placing the ball early on in this second half. We'll see a strong tackle from Hagman just to try and get the ball up the field a little bit more. We'll see Flynn again finding the ball in the middle of the park. He's doing a decent job in here, just trying to figure out his footing and get the right speed of play.
McGowan with a beautiful pass up to Law. Pressure from Woodside. He keeps it alive, sends middle. Kind of blooped up, and McCormick will take it. He looks for the quick pass in the middle to Flynn. Flynn to Brock. A little bit of pressure from Burmeister.
We'll see a push from Lutz, and that's going to give the Dutchman another free kick. Too many balls out on the pitch.
Now, I got to say, that would make things a lot more interesting. If there's 2 to 3 soccer balls out there, that would be a little complicated.
Certainly confuses me.
This ball into the backfield for Baruso. Out to Auburn. Outside to Woodside.
See Woodside take it with speed. Good defense by Law just to slow him down a little bit.
Scrambled defense. Get a throw in from Woodside. Dealt with a lot of pressure. Keeps it alive. He goes in the corner. He'll get shoved. We'll get that foul call. That's going to be on Failer.
I'm not sure if that's a shove for a smart foul or a shove out of frustration of getting megged so badly on the outside.
So Raymond back by the ball. He'll be the lone wolf out there. But looks like Brock will join him. I think there's a lot of frustration on this call as Brock gets it at the top. Good hustle play from Law.
That's a good definitive tackle just to get that ball out of bounds. But can the Dutchman be quicker in that situation and being able to say, let's get a one-touch shot off of this pass?
Albritton in the right place at the right time for that, and Flynn will take it back to Woodside. Brock to Dalt. He tries to tap it back. Brock gets it. Looks out to Raymond. Raymond with a little bit of space. Kind of a missed pass. Hagman comes charging in. Finds Brock. Brock goes through. He's got an open middle pocket. Shake and bake into the middle.
And he's going to finish that play.
You know, Ricky Bobby would be thankful for that one. Shake and bake all the way. Never fails you. Beautiful shot by Brock.
And immediately we knew it was trouble. The minute he was on that ball and saw that little pocket of space and exploited it with so much speed, and not just speed, but quickness of feet and quickness of sight.
Scoring goal number 6.
So that is going to be the 6th goal of the night, and Brock will take it. That's his second of the night. He had the first one. We're going to see a sub from the Comets, number 31, Anthony Pena. And then we're going to get a goal change. McCormick will come out, and we'll see number 29, Joey Weber. The freshman from Buckley will come in. So Brock's down in the middle of the field. Looks like he got bopped into the face.
A little nerve-wracking the way he was grabbing onto, it looks like his chest from far away.
Yeah, and it was his head for a little while, and I think he was just kind of checking for a bloody nose.
Right.
And we're going to get a lot of subs for the Dutch when the time comes. So we're going to get a goal start from Weber.
A quick start from Weber.
And Raymond has it in the middle.
And he's going to look a lot along. A beautiful
And
ball
he goes
up
out
to
to
Dalt.
Dalt.
And a decent idea, just trying to get that quick shot off. And that's just going to sail wide. But look at that sight and that placement. Going back to what we said, being able to get that ball across the field and just have that communication with your offensive player. If this is where I want the ball, run into that space. And just for them to know and working off of that ball. Beautiful by number 16, James Raymond.
So he will come out, and we're going to get 4 subs for the Dutch. Number 3, Griffin Brusso will come back in. Number 4, Brett Dyer, as well as number 11, Logan Bilesma, will come back into the game. And number 20, Martins, will also join them. And just for my friends who are listening, I'll say Brusso twice. Number 19, Dalton Brusso. He's on more of the offensive end. And we're going to see number 3, Griffin Brusso, who's on the right side of the field, also on the offensive end. So I'll try to differentiate. But if you hear Brusso twice, that's the reasoning behind it. Martins takes it. Slides it out to the Dutch. Well, Albritton will have it. He sends it.
We'll find Brett in a decent spot in behind.
Dyer with some pressure from Bonkowski.
That's good work by Butler to maintain the possession for the Dutchman.
And Dalton has it. Finds Griffin Brusso. He kind of misplaces it, and Failure will send it out of bounds. Woodside will take the throw in. He is Dalton close, and that's who he chooses to go to. They'll spread it out to Brusso, Griffin Brusso. Cleared out from Thomas. Hagman keeps it alive.
And a fairly dangerous play on Hagman by Law, but no bad blood between the two players.
Woodside goes up the side, double teamed, both by McGallen and Burmeister.
And he's still able to get that ball in miraculously. And there's just so much space and time from the Comets. We see pockets of space where they do a great job of closing down pressure, and then just other times where they're just caught snoozing.
Law looks to charge. Albritton, a victim of that turf. And Weber comes sliding in, using the turf to his advantage.
Right. We haven't seen that yet once this season.
Looks like a slip and slide out there, and he gets style points for that one. Bilesma gets tripped up.
And almost floating on the leg of the Comets defender.
Gallen's there.
And he's still got that ball. Holds on to possession beautifully.
Graham's going to get tripped up from Griffin Brusso.
And like you said, getting a little chippy in this game.
So we're going to get a free kick here. Back by the ball is Burmeister. And number 7, Law. Looks like Law is going to take it. Sent up off the head of Dalt. Top of the box. Dalton looks up to Bilesma. Bilesma slips.
Just doing the best he can in that situation, but also by himself in the middle of the park. And Dalton's doing a great job of finding those pockets of space. Unfortunately, Biles was unable to time that run very well. But he just seems, specifically Dalton, seems to have a lot of ideas of how he wants to go forward and how he wants to incorporate the rest of the midfielders as well as the offensive players in attack.
Failer is going to take the free kick for us. Albritton's there. Dalton will send it up to Dyer. Dyer to a charging Brusso.
Butler, it looks like. All
You're
the way
right,
from
Butler.
the back.
Sorry, 8 and 9 kind of looking like similar numbers way out there.
Right.
And looks like Butler will take the throw in, but first we're going to get 2 subs. Number 21, Jack Veld, and 23, Michael Francisco will come into the game. Veld will come in for Woodside, and Francisco will come in for Butler. Throw in from Francisco. He chooses Martin. Martins goes out to Dalton. They go back to Dalton Brusso. Good pressure from Thomas. Veld takes it.
And a good interception by him. He's someone who finds the tiny gaps and spaces in these little passes. A great opportunity for Griffin Brusso. Just not able to find that final touch the way he wants to. And that's one thing for, as a freshman, just being able to develop that touch and that finesse in the final third.
2 more subs for the Dutch. Number 12, Steve Binning, and number 15, Nolan Vandegrift will come in.
And it seems as whenever there's a substitution, we always see 2 or 3 more guys coming back on as soon as we see that first substitution.
Off the head of Burmeister, then off of Veld. Another team being able to really settle it. Martins has it for now. Goes out for Dyer.
We can see a good battle between Dyer and Bonkowski. Griffin Bruce has been doing a great job of finding the ball a lot in the middle. Uncharacteristic to see him in a middle position as opposed to the outside.
Now we see number 11, Rosendale, out on the side.
And again, that's a player we keep repeating just for that sheer speed and that natural gift and ability to get forward and be so hungry in the final third.
Yeah, it'd be really exciting. Deep throw in, almost had a chance. Number 7, Law, almost got his head just right to flick that in, but it'd be really awesome for this Comets defense. We talked about this multiple times to see Rosendale kind of get some of those more opportunities, but you see him charge forward and he doesn't really have anyone to help him out if he gets trapped in that corner. And we're going to get 2 more subs.
Looks like number 5, Dominic Byrne, and number 17, Jack Elwell, are going to check into this game.
So Law has the ball, looks up to Burmeister. Burmeister with the speed cuts middle, and Weber with a nice diving catch.
That was a decent bit of play, just being able to penetrate that defense and get in behind for the first time maybe this entire second half, or one of the first times the second half.
Francisco will miss past that ball. McGallen goes for a nice long ball. A little high, but kind of throws up the hands.
Right, and a lot of these shots, we're seeing target practice, but it looks like the wrong target for these guys for this game.
Vandegrift will set it up. Martins, every time Martins comes in, he comes in with a lot of energy and a lot of aggression. Got to appreciate that from someone coming off the bench.
Right.
And doing a great job winning most of the balls he's in. He'll pass that out to Griffin Brusso.
And it's great to see that energy again coming from freshmen as opposed to some of your older players.
And we've said multiple times that it's a deep Dutch team, and it's always exciting. If I was Coach Brandt, I'd feel so comfortable with whoever I threw out there because they're just as good as my starters are.
Right. Saw a great interception by number 12, Steve Binnig, just to stop the speed of play. And on the other side of the ball, we just see numbers and numbers of Dutchmen running forward. Elwell with so much space. And a beautiful save by I'm positioning himself far enough off of his line that he didn't have to dive too much for that ball, which is great insight by a goalkeeper to be able to make that tactical adjustment and see it coming.
And good hustle by Elwell. We thought that was going to be a misplaced pass, and he came charging from behind to make the most of it. And we're going to get a corner. This ball's in the mix. Punched out by I'm.
It looks like that ball maybe sailed out of bounds and curled back in.
And Adam is coming back into the game. One of those strong presence in the first half. Kind of shocked he didn't start, but
Right.
he'll come in for number 8, Lutz, well-deserved break.
And that might just be the nature of tired legs and exhaustion, not being able to start. And that's a testament, or that just goes to show how much time you can waste when you're not able to connect your passes and do what you want to do on the field.
Francisco has it. He goes for the throw-in. Juggled around up top. And
a lot of back and forth so far right now.
Trying to get that ball out of there. Failer will send it back up.
And that was the right decision in that
Yeah.
space and time, just not being able to communicate with Imes and a lot of mounting pressure from Bilesma.
This ball at the top of the box. Griffin Brusso. Hit Jack Veld crashing in. Didn't lead him quite well, but
And a
Veld's still there.
beautiful ball.
Bilesma's on the ball, and he's going to tip it in, but I think that's going to get called back.
And that was a great ball and great pressure from Veld, who we haven't seen get forward, but he is so dangerous and he has so much speed. So we love it when we see him getting into the box and just getting up forward just because he is so dangerous, especially with those quick 1-2 passes in behind. Great ball, just unlucky on the finish for Bilesma.
Well, up the side, he pushes up to McGallen off the head of Binning.
And McGowan, it looks like, knows he's offside, so he'll take himself out of that play immediately. And again, we can see Weber. He just loves to slide. I don't even know if it's the turf or if it's
Right,
just
if it's
his
just
style.
like a natural thing, yeah.
Right.
Elwell's there.
And we're going to see him skip in frustration, just knowing he can do better on the pass.
Binning's there. They find Francisco. Tries to spread it back out to Binning. He's got a lot of pressure. He sticks with it, and he'll draw the foul. Quick start from Dyer.
I've never seen a defender dive like a forward the way Binnig just did, but we love to see it anyway.
Love to see the versatility. Martins has it. Looks up to Bilesma, and Griffin Brusso's there, and that's going to get sent out of bounds from my main man, Burmeister. We're going to see number 22, Jordan Hooker, come into the game. He'll come in for Bilesma, who's done a phenomenal job tonight. I mean, 3 goals in a night. You can't really argue with that.
Anytime I get to say the name or the term hat trick, I'm a happy woman, so.
This ball's going to get out of bounds. And we're going to get a goal kick here. And a substitution. 25, Sam Mason comes back into the game.
He's going to give Griffin Brusso a break.
Number 25, Sam Mason.
This ball's in, and Adams gets it up.
That's something we see from Nolan Vandergrift quite a bit. Just a little fun shoulder chest trap. I don't know if it's a shimmy or trap.
And that ball's set up. Hey, whatever way, it doesn't matter.
Whatever works for your team, exactly.
And this ball's going to get sent out, little back plate, for Veld, but he's got a lot of space to work with. He's against Burmeister, goes past him, keeps it alive.
Comets
just kind of giving
taking
up.
it forward with a little bit more confidence than we usually see.
Hooker crashing from the side. Middle to Elwell. And he's going to just kind of blop it in.
Right, and we're going to see a little deflection off of, I'm not sure who, whether it's a Comets player or another Dutchman, but just a great sight and composure of Hooker just to be able to slow that play down when he saw exactly where he wanted to put it. And then Elwell just being able to smash that ball with a weaker left foot and just put it in the back of the net. Great play by all and great development.
With the assist, number 22, Jordan Hooker.
So Elwell will get in the stat book for the goal with a assist from Hooker. And then we're going to see a substitution. Number 10, Charles Holt, will come back into the game for the Comets. Martins with his speed up top. Finds Mason. Mason pushes it into Hooker. Out to Martins. Martins got some room. He goes back to Veld. Veld sends it nice and high.
All right, nice and high and looping.
And
we're going to see Dyer looking for a little bit of a piggyback ride late in this game.
And, Dyer not necessarily with the height. Adams definitely has that over him, so trying to make the most of it. But pretty sure that's illegal in any sport. So
right. Although it is fun.
It is, yes. This time the call will once again go in favor of the Comets.
Just under 15 minutes left in this game. And although it's unlikely that the Comets will be able to come back from a loss, maybe they have a little bit of life left in them. And we'll see a cute little flick from Sam Mason. Excuse me, I get my Sams mixed up, Mason versus Albritton. And that's just a fun little trick. And it's nice when your team has the space to have that much fun on the ball and be able to really experiment with how you're going forward and the pace.
Vandergriff finds Byrne in the middle, who goes to Martins. We'll spread it out to Veld. Veld goes back middle to Byrne.
And we can just see how much the speed of play has decreased, but also how much time the Dutchmen really have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still 14 minutes left to go in the second half. Hooker at the top. Goes to Martins. Martins decides to go for a shot. Kind of blast that one into the,
right, and
the
almost
back net. Hit a
back.
Net, but not the right one.
Exactly. And he's almost leaning back on that play, just not being able to get his head over the ball the way he wanted to.
Comets will send two more into the game. Number 23, Griffin Hammond, will come in for his second time, and number 30, Reese Burton, will come into the game for Burmeister. And this ball is going to be brought up to number 21, Jack Veld.
Burton's going to come and intercept that.
Brought up, Elwell settles it. Hooker's out on the side towards the corner. We'll get the corner kick.
We're going to get a substitution first.
Entering the lineup for the Flying Dutchman.
Looks like number 3, Griffin Brusso, is going to come on, giving number 4, Brett Dyer, a well-deserved break.
This ball's in the mix. Off the head of a Comet. Still in the box. And just mixed up from, I think that was Elwell.
Right, and that was a great corner from Mason, just being able to get the right spin on that ball. Unfortunately, the Dutchmen were not in the right space and time, but it was a great cross in and perfect spin.
Baylor will take that ball. Binning has it in the backfield, no pressure. This one goes up to Griffin Brusso.
We'll see Elwell somehow find this ball. And he'll hold on to that.
Elwell to Mason in the middle. Goes out to Brusso. Brusso to Martins, kind of sneaks that pass in, and
Right.
Adams will send that one out.
Yeah, he's almost forced to give up a corner in that situation.
So Sam Mason goes back. He'll take the corner. Sam recently engaged in this last month, so congratulations to him. And I know Madison, his fiance, out at grad school for AT. So if she's listening, shout out to you and congratulations. As this ball's
Congratulations.
into the net.
Right.
We're talking about engagement.
Oh,
So we got ourselves a goal.
Oh, exactly. Good news
Arguably
all
more
around.
exciting. Good news all around.
And it looks as it's going to be number 5, Dominic Byrne, just somehow moving his body into the right position just to muscle his way through and get that ball in. And we can see the frustration on goalkeeper Brendan Ime, just having his hands on his hips, just doing the best he can. But unfortunately, this defense has been very difficult to organize, and the Comets have just had a lot of bad luck and a lot of bad positioning as well during this entire game.
Dominic Byrne.
So that ball off of a pass from Mason, and Burns will sink it. We're going to get a couple subs for the Comets. Number 2, Farrer, will come into the game, as well as Ransom, number 15, and number 29, Fang, will come into the game. Ime is back for the kick. Brought down from Burton.
And not much life left in this Comets team.
This ball is, we're going to get a throw in here. Number 23, Griffin Hammond, will throw it in to Burton, tripped up from Veld. Martins will crash through, and Hammond will get another shot. This time he chooses number 2, Farrer. And he's going to get third time's the charm with his third throw in. Nice flick from Farrer.
And I see Vandegrift doing everything he can to try and keep this ball, eventually regaining possession for the Dutchmen.
This time Veld will take the throw in. Off the head of Mason. Holt sends it down. Veld will pop it out of bounds.
Looks like we're going to get another substitution. Number 9, David McGowan, is going to come back on for number 4, Caleb Graham.
9.5 minutes left to go in this second half, 8-1. Dutch have controlled much of this game and have really controlled the ball for the majority of this game.
And we can see everyone on the field just moving at a glacial pace, just almost at a standby for both teams. One team kind of in control and the other team just trying to fight with what minutes they have left to stay alive.
Elwell takes it. McGowan trips him up. He'll take it, send it out to Burton.
And one thing that we haven't touched on is that these Olivet Comets are a fairly young team, a couple seniors, but mostly freshmen, sophomores on this roster. And just being able to see their play develop as they get a little bit older and get more experience will be really exciting for their program.
And looking at this Olivet roster, I see 2 seniors. So another exciting thing for this Olivet team is that they're very young and got a lot of time to improve and grow as a cohesive unit, which is exciting. Sam Mason once again will take a corner kick from the opposite side. 8 minutes to go.
And another beautiful kick, just a little slightly far. But we can even see a little bit of frustration from Hooker, just trying to get ahead on that ball.
Yeah, looks like he kind of thought he should have had it. Goal kick from Ime.
Again, we see a little bit of slippage in these last final minutes.
Mason tripped up, but no call. Hammond will take the throw in.
And a good header by Jack Veld, typically not known for getting up on those balls.
Good cross pass out to Hooker.
We'll see Bonkowski intercept that. And he does a great job to try and keep that ball the best he can.
Does a good job of sticking with it. Halts there. In the air. The Dutch will take it. Martin's tripped up. And Thang will pass it out. Martins recovers. Goes out to Vandegrift. A little bit of pressure from Farrer.
It looks like he's trying to break ankles as a center back. We don't see that too often.
Out on the side. Pena's there. So this ball into Griffin Brusso. He leaves it. Thang's out to Pena. Comet's really trying to get it out of their half. Struggling to do so as Binning takes it back in to Mason. Mason with some space. Looks to push. Good pass up. Adam is there.
We've seen a lot of swings and misses in this game as well, just not being able to have that composure. And that may be due just to these minutes that have worn on and just not having the best of luck and just having the wear and tear of a 90-minute game, or 80-minute game, excuse me. No, 90-minute. I have trouble with math at times.
The pre-med student.
Right.
Adams fights for the ball.
We're going to see a no call from the ref and a little bit of frustration from Adam in that situation. Looks like he's going down.
Not quite sure. Maybe looks like he got popped in the eye or the nose. Or I think we're going to get a sub.
Looks like we're going to get a stoppage of time at the very least. I'm not quite sure because he's still able to move.
Right.
He's moving with the ref. Almost looks like they're doing a fun little exercise together.
Looks like maybe he's bleeding.
Possibly.
Substitutions.
Looks like either
Entering the
from
lineup for the Comets.
the
Number
mouth
20,
or the
Dominic
nose.
Burmeister.
But what we're going to see is a substitution of number 20, Dominic Burmeister, coming in to check into the game. And then we're also going to see for the Dutchman, Caleb Schoon, number 26, checking into the game to give Jack Elwell, number 17, a break.
Thang out there.
Thing out there doing that thing.
Ain't no thing for Thang. That might be my new favorite name.
Right. We're going to see this ball sail out of bounds for a goal kick for the Comets.
I'm back in the goal. Take the kick. Takes his time. We hit the 5-minute mark. Still 8-1. 14 shots on goals for the Dutch and just 2 for the Comets.
And Burmeister does very well on that ball just to flick it forward.
Good hustle play from Burton. Tries to keep it alive, but Veld's there. He'll take the throw-in off of Hooker.
We'll see a sassy little toss.
Probably unnecessary. Burmeister will take the throw-in.
And again, we can see the composure from Vandegrift. He'll draw the foul from number 2, Ryan Farrar, it looks like.
Binning sends it middle. Looks up to Mason.
And a good play. We've seen a lot of build-up from defense to midfield to offense, which I don't think we saw a lot of that in the last game. Just that build-up play through all 3 lines and with pace and being able to do that as efficiently. So it's great to see the Dutchman making that adjustment. And you have to wonder what sorts of conversations Coach Brandt has going into these games, especially after big losses or close games or times where the Dutchmen aren't able to play to their strength as well as they can, or even games like this where they are being handed opportunities, it seems like. Just the nature of the conversations and how he's able to build consistent play among the field and really challenge his players to be pushed out of their comfort zones and do better for themselves and as a team and as individuals.
Good things for the Dutch as we hit the 3.5-minute mark. Vandegrift looks middle to Martins. Martins will send it right back. Okay.
Mason's got a little bit of space in the middle. We'll see Griffin Brusso on the left.
Lots of determination from Martins to keep that ball alive. It's going to
Right.
get dipped out to Francisco, I believe.
And I like the commitment of the Dutchmen to not always look back so far to create space for themselves. They're not always looking to pass to their center backs and restart the play all the way from the back. Just having more of a commitment to use or utilize their defensive and offensive midfield players.
This ball in the box. It's going to go off of Thang. He's going to get a push. That was not Thang. Excuse me, Hammond.
I think you wanted it to be Thang, Carly.
I think I did. They are next to each other, close.
Right.
Actually, not really, but that's okay. This ball goes out, and Vandegrift hustles for it. Farr beats him to it, but can't keep it in bounds. Spinning to Martins under the 2-minute mark. Up to Mason. Mason hustles, tries to keep it alive.
And a good burst of speed from Mason that we don't typically see. But again, that interchange play has been apparent throughout this entire game. And no difference closing in on these last 2 minutes. And we'll see Jack Veld slipping into a very good spot. Looks like he was slightly offsides, but just a testament to how far up the field he was able to get. And again, that commitment to going forward and then getting back defensively as well.
As we hit the 120 mark, and as Ransom goes charging for that ball to send it back to the goal kick, want to thank our camera crew and all our people back here in the booth who make this so much fun and make the live stream look so good. So shout out to them and all their hard work.
And for the stats as well, just keeping us honest in terms of what's going on in this game.
Really privileged here at Hope to have such a fun and well put together broadcast and online stream for you guys to watch.
And mostly student run. We do have our supervisors, thank God.
Yes.
But
What would we do without them?
right, but also all the students that work so hard to make this a reality.
So 30 seconds left to go. Martins has it. Little pass out to Francisco. It's going to get sent out of bounds from Pena. This ball is sent up the sideline. Gallon charges to it. He's the first one there. Hammond will take the throw in. 10 seconds to go.
10,
Off the
9,
head of Pena.
8,
Francisco
7,
settles it to the
6,
ground.
5,
Passed up. Vandegrift's there. Pressure
3,
from the
2,
Comets,
1.
specifically Burton. And that is going to do it tonight here at Van Andel Soccer Stadium. The Dutch take it away 8-1. The Comets, we wish you guys the best of luck in the rest of your season. Still early on. And we'll see you tomorrow night. The women will play Trine at 6 o'clock, I believe. Don't hold me to that one. So if you want some more Dutch soccer, exciting season for both men's and women's, you know where to find us here tomorrow. I'm Carly Van Swell alongside Claire De Silva.
Thanks, guys, and have a great night.
And don't forget to roll Dutch.
Ladies and gentlemen,